You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
You are now listening to Ring Kings Boxing on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome to this installment of Ring Kings Boxing, man. Big ups to the Fight family members. Happy Memorial Day to the family. Much love to you guys. Appreciate y'all being in the building for Memorial Edition of Ring Kings Boxing, man. We got it going on. In this one, we'll be covering Devin Haney versus Jorge Linares. We'll recap that thing. We also will have some news on Deontay Wilder's upcoming bout against the cheetah, Tyson Fury. We'll also cover Mayweather's fight as well against Logan Paul, saying it's legalized robbery. So with all that being said, I'd like to welcome all the family members into this installment of Ring Kings Boxing. I'm Big Q chiming in. And of course, we have my co-host of Ring Kings Boxing, Eddie, Too Mean Johnson, our fight analyst. What's going on, Too Mean? How you feeling, brother?
All right. How you doing, man?
Doing good, my friend. And man, listen, this fight here, we watched this fight. This was a pretty good fight. I think Devin the Dream got woke up because, listen, Jorge Linares really gave him a fight. And a lot of people didn't think Linares would be as tough as he was, but man, he was something awesome in this one. To me, let's talk about this one. Let's talk about this because I wouldn't mind seeing a number two Haney and Linares fight, because Linares took everything that Devin dished out and even gave him some stuff that had his legs wobbling going back to the corner. What you thought about this fight here, To me?
Oh, yeah, it was a good fight until Haney, say he stopped using his jab and he was letting Linares carry him too fast, man. And you know what I'm saying? They started putting too much hands on him and kind of wore him out a little bit. I think he might have been having sex or something before that fight, man. Because his legs, like, they got weak on the second half of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And that shouldn't be, you know what I'm saying, for somebody as young as him like that. That shouldn't, you know what I'm saying, something like that shouldn't happen. But yeah, I think he need to go on we'll go back on the drawing board, man. And you know what I'm saying, and work on not getting hit as much. And work on that power too, because Linares kept coming in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He
wasn't scared of nothing he was given, To me.
Yeah, I was like, you gotta put some heat on him, man. Let him, like, look, I ain't gonna be just coming in like that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta earn that respect, man. So obviously he wasn't hitting him with something that's gonna make him like second guess or keep just coming in like that. So yeah, it was a good fight, man. You know what I'm saying? So Devin Haney got some work to do, man.
Yeah, this guy gave him some challenges, and even after the fight, when you hear what Linares was saying, he was saying that he's seen his speed, he's very fast, but he didn't feel his power, which was obvious because had he felt Devin Haney's power, he would have backed up off. He wouldn't have been pursuing him as much in the fight. But Jorge Linares he's a veteran that's seen a lot of fights. He can hit, To me. So it does mean that, Devin Haney showed up in this fight in terms of taking the power of Linares, and he wobbled him a couple of times in the fight because Linares had some really good counters in there. But we'll play that. Speaking of Devin Haney saying that he had no power, so like you said yourself, there were some things that he's going to have to work on in this fight, man, to kind of to kind of get his game together. And he's been walking over a lot of people. But listen, man, this Jorge Linares, man, was no freaking joke, man. So that was pretty cool. What do you thought about the combinations, like the counter shots from Linares, and of course his call that Devin Haney has no power?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He had to work on that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's honest criticism. He should take it. He should look at it as honest criticism, man, and go back in the gym and work on that. You know what I'm saying? He built that power up. You know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? Work on his defense more so he won't get hit as much. You know what I'm saying? He need to work on his chin too, because when he was getting tagged, he was getting wobbled, even though he said he was never hurt.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, he was rocked, because you could tell the way he was walking on them legs, man, and his legs look weak. You know, like I said before, man, a young fighter like him his legs shouldn't be giving out on him like that, man. Unless he must have been doing something he had no business, messing with some females or something.
That probably was the case. It could have been a little bit of disrespect toward Jorge Linares, thinking that he was just going to hammer the piss out of him. And Linares told him, you know what? I got something for you. And he did tell him that, listen, I don't think you know who you're dealing with in me. And I'm going to teach him some stuff that he probably don't know before. But he stood in there and took everything Devin Haney was throwing. And Haney was letting loose. But power-wise, that was a clear indication that he took everything Jorge did. But then again, Jorge took everything he threw, so it's a compliment. But like you said yourself, I think he definitely has to work on that chin, because, man, Linares was giving him all that he can handle. And we'll get into the particulars, but let's hear what Devin Haney had to say about the win over Jorge Linares after the fight. Here we go.
The 10th round specifically, I mean, we were talking about a great performance for you, but what in the 10th round, describe what happened, and do you feel that more?
Put one in the chat if y'all can hear it, fam.
That little stumble back to the corner, did that mar it at all?
This is boxing. If you go in there and you think that you're not going to get hit with any punches, through a 12-round fight, and it's unbelievable, especially against a guy who's been in there in the biggest fights, who dropped the guy who's the best defensive fighter, has the best legs, the best ring IQ, Loma. He went in there, he hit me with a good shot, and I showed grit. I showed that I still came out stronger after that, and I showed that I'm a true champion.
Devin, what will you remember about this particular fight when it's all said and done?
I don't know. I gotta go back and watch the fight. I'm thankful, for this fight. I'm thankful for the opportunity. I'm thankful, that I got to showcase my skills at the top level, and we'll see.
Can you talk about this fight? Was supposed to be about being a test, right? You wanted to be tested in this fight. Can you just talk about that? That's what you got out of this fight.
Of course, I knew that this fight was going to be a test. The world knew that it was going to be a test. This is by far the best fighter that I've fought, and this is the guy that dropped Loma. Let's not forget about that. He went there, he dropped Luke Campbell. Let's not forget about that. Every guy that knocked him out, he probably hurt him. Besides, I would say Cano, and I just think Cano caught him with a good shot early, and he couldn't get back from it. But other than that, the guys that knocked him out, he dropped him or hurt them.
On the other
They
hand,
they took punishment in the process. Look at my face.
Yeah.
This right here is from a headbutt.
On the other hand of that, though, I mean, Eddie, you said before the fight, like, hey, we'll be knocking on your doors. Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez. All these guys punch harder than Jorge Linares.
Are you sure about that? Because let's just think about it. Jorge Linares dropped Loma. Did Tio?
Yeah, that'll be Devin Haney's thoughts. To me, you heard what Devin Haney was saying about that, man. Let's get into that. Let's unpack that a bit. What are your thoughts on what Devin Haney was saying after the fight? It's, in my opinion, you look at his resume, and Jorge Linares is definitely probably the best fighter, most seasoned fighter that he's fought. Could take his shots, could take his punches as well. And I don't know if the guys that he was talking about hit harder than Linares, but Linares is a heavy hitter, man. He's a punishing fighter. He took a lot of abuse in the fight. but also dished out a lot of abuse as well. So, what do you think about Devin Haney's post-fight comments?
Yeah, I'm quite sure he realized that he definitely got to work on some stuff. So that's why he said he was going to look at the fight again. He'll realize he need to work on something because he, you know what I'm saying, because he felt him. He definitely got touched, boy. And let's imagine that fight went 15 rounds like they used to. What you think would have happened then?
Oh man, could have been a different outcome.
Oh yeah, because his legs was gone, man.
Right.
Yep, his legs was gone. So he got some work to do, man.
Let's
a good fight for him though. You know what I'm saying? He got tested. He got the water. He went to the deep water, man. He did pretty good though.
He came out with the belt. Eddie's still holding it. Unanimous decision. We'll go over the article momentarily. But let's hear what Jorge Linares had to say about his loss to Devin Haney after the fight. Here we go.
Here we are with Jorge Linares after his tough fight with Devin Haney. You almost had him, Jorge. You had him really, really hurt.
You know, I know very well. I lose the first round to still to fight. I lose because, you know, it's the inactivity. I was so tired because I was thinking only the block, and then when I gave the chance, give it to him punch, you know, combination and everything like that because I have more punch than him. But the referee was a little intense, and then after 6th round I gave the chance to give it to him a lot of punch. The 9th round I have a big chance. When he come back to the ring, he was so bad, and then he come to only click me. Clinch, yeah. So, and the referee was more intense. I was thinking he want to take 1 point, 1 pointer, you know. But you know, boxing is like that. I was good. I'm very happy with my job. But you know, la inactividad es muy fuerte.
Inactivity is very hard.
Son 16 meses sin pelear y por más que sea siempre me afectó.
And it affected him a lot.
Y cuando comencé a golpearlo, comenzó a agarrarse y el referee también estaba fastidioso. Pensé que me iba a quitar puntos.
I thought the ref was going to take points from me because, you know.
But you know, boxing is like that. So if I tell to Golden Boy, give it to me the opportunity again for rematch, he don't want to do that. 100% he don't want.
How did Devin feel in there? How was the jab?
No, he was fast. He
was
fast, but I didn't feel his punch. He had only good speed. Good speed, but only that.
What else was difficult in the fight for you?
His style is a little difficult because he's going always back, and then picture. Allá para atrás y se agarraba, porque él sabía que lo iba a lastimar. Pero así es el boss, no queda otra. A seguir trabajando.
Where do you go from here, you feel, Jorge? How do you feel?
I feel good. I tell to Roberto, I tell to all my team, I can come back more strong. Why not? But I know very well myself, so the inactivity was a little more bad for me, you know, this time. But I feel fine.
That's Jorge Linares talking about Devin Haney to me at the end of the fight, saying that he had no power. He had no power. I didn't feel his power. And like you could see actually in the fight that Haney was hurt, man. He was wobbly. And of course, he spoke about not having any power. Speak to that to me.
Yeah, like I say, he has to work on that. You know what I'm saying? Honest criticism, he should take it as. You know what I'm saying? Because he's young, man. He still got a lot more to learn. So I think he comes out of this. You know, so after this fight, I think he comes back a lot better now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think you're right on that. Let's look at the article right here. We have it pulled up. Devin Haney survives late charge by Jorge Linares to retain the WBC lightweight title. And it is what it is. Saturday night was going perfectly until Linares caught him with a big right hand in the fourth. The moment that punch landed, the biggest test of Haney's career became significantly tougher. Haney did just enough to pass, surviving a furious rally by the veteran Linares to pick up a unanimous decision victory, 116-112, 116-112, and 115-113, and retain the WBC lightweight title in Las Vegas. Now, Haney, but the final 6 minutes And the fan reaction following his victory showed that the dilemma Haney faces in his budding career, even on a night when he did everything he could to show that he was an exciting fighter worthy of biggest matchups, Haney received a mixed reaction of boos and cheers. Now, Haney's 26-0 with 15 knockouts was dominating Linares up until the final seconds of the 10th round. Right before the bell, Linares, 47-6 with 29 knockouts, wobbled Haney with a straight right hand. The champion walked on shaky legs back to his corner while Linares swung his arms to the side to make sure Haney knew where he was headed. The type of punch was almost inevitable given Haney's approach against the former champion. Haney's previous bout, he defeated Yuri Gamboa in a unanimous decision that was both dominating and relatively unexciting. Against Linares, Haney opted to stand in front of the 35-year-old Linares, who still carried significant power and looked to throw power punches at the risk of getting caught with a big strike. That's what the fans wanted to see. If I can go in there and walk my opponent down and hit him with big shots, Haney said in the post-fight interview. And as you can see, the numbers lined up, the punch stats here by CompuBox, showing that the 215 shots landed by Haney versus 116 by Linares, 32% completion percentage on his shots versus 19 by Linares, simply because Haney was very hard to hit. But when Haney settled in front of Linares, you've seen things change a bit. Now, going forward, the next, after the bite, we had the talking of Haney complained that other young stars in the division, names like Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia, were not willing to fight him. After Garcia beat Campbell earlier this year, Garcia didn't mention Haney as a potential opponent in post-fight interview, even though it made logical sense. If Haney looked great against Linares, it could create more pressure for other fighters to face the WBC champion and grow a fan base in the crowded division. The special fighters make a statement, Matchroom promoter Hearn said in his interview. And if Haney can make a statement against Jorge Linares next week, it makes my job a lot easier. For 9 rounds and 170 seconds, Haney dazzled against a quality opponent. It was expected performance he was looking for, but the finish might have undone all of his good work. I just think at the end of the day that, and this is just me talking here, that Haney, the next few fights that you might see with Devin Haney, this is what these guys are doing to me a lot. And that's the problem with the sport of boxing, is that you got all these celebrity boxers, as I call them, guys who want a big fan base, but they don't want to fight the big fights in the name in the division. They talk shit about each other and run away from each other. And we know that some of these guys are being told by their fighters, by their corner and handlers, not to take on this man because he'll destroy your career. So a lot of them don't want to fight certain guys. They want an easier way to get to the belt, even though they talk about fighting each other. It don't always equal up to that. If you have a guy that you want to fight, you tell your goddamn trainer and your handlers to make that fight as soon as possible. You don't see that happening because a lot of these trainers are steering their guys away from tough fights, which is a shame because we don't see a lot of that. But Devin Haney's next fight, I doubt it'll be against Garcia, and I doubt it'll be against a guy like Teofimo Lopez, who I really liked before he got the belt. But since he's gotten the belt, it's been a bunch of bullshit with Teofimo Lopez, running around talking shit, lying about stuff, got caught in lying, all kind of stuff. It's just really pathetic and sad how it all played out, because what they do is when they get the belts, they want to camp on the belts. They want to hold on to the belts and the celebrity that it represents. But if you're a champion, you got to fight all comers and you got to fight the top dogs. You can't manipulate your way into easier fights. So, I mean, some of them get away with up to a point, but eventually they all get caught in any issue. So, to me, with that being said, who do you would like to see Haney fight next?
Ryan Garcia,
Yep.
or either him or Ryan Garcia and then Teofimo Lopez. That's what I would like to see.
Why in that order? Why not Teofimo? That'd unify the lightweight if he did fight Teofimo Lopez, who has the rest of the belts that he sees from Lomachenko.
Yeah, because, you know what I'm saying, just to shut Ryan Garcia ass up talking. You know what I'm saying? Just to shut him up, man. You know what I'm saying? I think he'll need another fight before he goes into a unification bout. You know what I'm saying? By him getting tagged like that.
Mm-hmm.
Work on some stuff, man.
Yeah, it's interesting because Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion, like I said, I like Teofimo And then all of a sudden it changed once he got the belts. It become a lot of talk, and it really soured me to how he behaved. I thought he would be a true champion insofar as how he would handle it and how he would take on all comers. But he's been running his ass off since he got them belts, man, and unification, saying that he's undisputed when you know Devin Haney has the last lightweight belt. I mean, if you want undisputed status, fight him and take his belt away from him so that you don't have to worry about having that. So, I mean, that makes the most sense for me for you to unify the lightweight crown, to have all of the belts, is to fight Haney. But Haney represents a very dangerous foe for the likes of Teofimo Lopez. So eventually, I think that fight happens. And for Garcia, who has no belts, it would be interesting to see Garcia fight too. I like Garcia a lot. I think he's talented, but I think his punches, he need to kind of sharpen up his punches. There's too much air in his punches. You know, it's almost like, to a degree, telegraphing his punches to a degree. But he's a terrific young fighter. I would love to see him and Haney fight. I would love to see Teofimo Lopez fight as well. I would love to see Garcia fight Teofimo Lopez. For some reason, they're going to run from each other. Well, Haney, I think he's willing, but those other guys are celebrity boxers, in my opinion, especially Garcia, who comes with a celebrity following already. But anyway, let's move into the next bit of news, going into the next realm of it. We got Deontay Wilder news. He wants retribution in Tyson Fury's blood. That sounds a bit hardcore, Deontay. You know, you got to watch what you say, because Deontay got fined by the organization for saying that he wanted to kill a man in the ring. Remember that? And Deontay might have taken 2 punches to the head, because that's not the type of shit you would tell the media. Maybe he might have taken too many punches in the head. But Wilder wants retribution in Tyson Fury's blood, which would seem kind of weird for him to say that, Eddie. But remember, Tyson Fury was licking Deontay's blood out of the side of his neck and his ear. And I thought that was really disgusting. I thought that was just awful. And none of these boxing people talked about that shit. How Tyson Fury was licking Wilder's blood off of his body while he was standing next to him. It was absolutely ridiculous and repugnant. It's so what kind of miserable reptilian motherfucker Tyson Fury really is. Former WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Bronze Bomber Wilder said earlier today that he wants his retaliation of Tyson Fury with his blood on July the 24th. A year and a half after his knockout loss to Fury, Wilder's 42-1 with 41 knockouts still believes he was wronged by him with the gloves he wore. Because of that, Wilder wants to pay him back when they meet in their pay-per-view bout on July the 24th in Las Vegas. Deontay says that the rationale for Fury trying to avoid him giving his contractual rematch was because of just plain cowardice on the British heavyweight's part. He was afraid to fight him, so he talked away from his contract. But he has no choice but to fight him now that he's lost his arbitration hearing. The reason is, well, it's kind of obvious. Why Fury tried to get off the contract with Wilder, it's a dangerous fight for Fury. If he loses, he won't get the big bank that he would have gotten fighting Anthony Joshua in the big British bash involving all 4 of the heavyweights titles. Now, Wilder won't be discouraged. Now, Fury, who's 30-0-1 with 21 knockouts, still could have gotten out of the trilogy match with Wilder if he had paid him a step aside, but would have cost a lot. And I don't think Deontay would have took that step aside money anyway. He wants Tyson Fury. They can't discourage me, Wilder said. They put hatred on my heart and I'm seeking revenge. This is the new me. This here is retaliation. We want it back in blood. That's what they try to do in front of the world. When you see those gloves flapping, going the 90-degree angle, keeping us smushed in form, that's the obvious right there. Say, Wilder. Now, he finally admitted to that to me about the flopping of the gloves and all of the stuff that we seen. But the WBC is keeping quiet about all of that and playing to the rim that nothing happened, even though you can look at the shit and see that the man gloves is flopping on his hand at 93-degree angles and dents in Deontay Wilder's side of his head can't possibly be done by the bone hands of the man. It had to be something metal within the gloves. They ignore all that evidence. But in this time, it's retribution. I hope Deontay Wilder gets and beat the shit out of this guy, because I despise cheating, rotten dogs like Tyson Fury, who've been cheating his ass off for a long time. It's not just the Deontay Wilder fights, or how he picking people to fight. When he has fights, he fights guys that's outside the top 15 of the fights just to solidify him, and talking all that cash money shit about being a top fighter while fighting lower ranked opponents. Now, Deontay Wilder is dangerous because Deontay Wilder can flatten his ass and make it very difficult for him. And this is a pissed off Deontay Wilder. I don't think you're going to be able to drug him this time, J. Diaz, who they blamed the other trainer for. What was his name? Too mean. They found they what's the trainer name?
Mark Breland.
They blamed Breland for drugging him when it was really J. Diaz who was, you seen, watching his hands get wrapped. So he had the right game plan, but the wrong man. While Phil Wilder is at it, they need to have a plan in place to use in case Fury starts throwing rabbit punches like he did last year. Wilder was pretty much done in the third round after being clubbed to the back of the head by Fury. The punch took Wilder's leg away from the rest of the night. If Fury is going to start throwing rabbit punches, Wilder may need to take matters into his own hands if the referees isn't going to lift a finger to help him. You cannot rely on the referees. Wilder understands this, that he's going to have to flatten and knock out Tyson Fury because the referees that allow the man, they supposed to grab your gloves when you walk in there and squeeze them gloves with both their hands to see if that guy has anything in those gloves. They're supposed to do that. For Deontay to have exhibited wounds of a bash upside of his head in the fight, meaning if they did that, they knew it was in there and they were a party to what was going on. Wilder's new trainer, Malik Scott, says Muhammad Ali is one of the greatest fighters of all time. It was very magical in the ring, but it was things he beat outside the ring that truly got my attention. Deontay Wilder is the closest thing to that in this time. I would not say that. I like Deontay Wilder a lot, but he is nowhere close to what Muhammad Ali is and what he brought to the sport of game. I mean, he's an excellent knockout artist, but come on with that bullshit. Wilder showed a lot of bravery to take contract issues with Fury to an arbiter, because if he hadn't done that, he would have been up the creek without a paddle. Many people said I was depressed. Some of them had my number, said Wilder. They could have called and asked if they really cared, especially if you're in a position where others read what you're writing. A lot of people want to be the first, then the correct. My thing about Deontay Wilder is this. You knew he was cheating the first fight, but you didn't say nothing. The same thing went on in the first fight, but you didn't say nothing because you won that fight. The second fight, it even got even worse because what you did was you ridiculed Tyson Fury in the pre-fights and told him, he called him a big mama. That's what he called him. He said, you're a big mama with pillows for fists. So what Tyson Fury did, with the help of the nigga from the Crunk Gym, what'd he do? He went to the Crunk Gym. He showed him up and got a little bit more aggressive. But you don't think the Crunk Gym dude knew what he was doing? Come on now. They know, man. But in the end, I read this entire article. Talk to me, what do you think about the retribution of Deontay Wilder against Tyson Fury?
Yeah, well, the old saying is, if you get him the first time, shame on him, right? How that saying go? If you fool me the first time, you know what I'm saying? You'll say
shame on you.
Yeah, shame on you, but I don't know how it go. I can't remember, but
you fool me the first time, right. Shame on you. If you fool me the second time, it's shame on me. Now, if George Bush was saying that shit, he tried to say it, he screwed it up. you fool me, you can't fool me again.
Yeah, because I'm like I say, the spotlight should be on Tyson Fury for this third fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about his gloves in the dressing room. All the mistakes that he made that last fight, he needed to correct them in this fight. You know what I'm saying? That's the bottom line right there, man. You know what I'm saying? You had the referee check his fucking glove before the fight start and everything.
Keep an eye, and to me, don't forget the ad to keep an eye on J. Diaz. Because J. Diaz, in my opinion, was who he was blaming Mark Breland for what he was doing, talking about he put something in his water. I went and looked up the tape and seen J. Diaz giving them water too. And J. Diaz was also in the locker room watching Tyson Fury's hands get wrapped. So if anything peculiar happened, it happened under him watching. So J. Diaz, in my opinion, is more of the snake than it is Breland. I don't think Breland was the man. I think it was J. Diaz. So you have to be very mindful that they could be revisiting some of these cheating techniques because they did it in the first fight and the second fight. It wouldn't be out of the realm. You have a lot of people in the new media wave that are bringing attention to Tyson Fury's cheating techniques. He might not be able to pull that off in this next fight. So, I mean, we keeping the heat on him while the rotten, underhanded, garbage, back ass, no balls ass old media continue to protect these people because they want big fights with big cash so they can bank out. We want big fights with big cash, but do it the right way. Don't cheat other fighters or give preferential treatment to other fighters in the ring in the sport. Boxing has been corrupt for years, man. It's time for this to be cleansed, man. It's time for the sun's light to shine on these cockroaches and get these bastards out of the way so the fight can have a baptism, as it were, so we can have fights honestly, not double, underhanded fights where drugged fighters and people putting shit up in their gloves like we witnessed the last two fights from Fury and Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's time to clean the sport up, like Mayweather used to say.
Yep.
Clean the sport up, man. Let these motherfuckers keep getting away with that shit. I don't see why Tyson Fury is still fighting, man.
Yeah, he's actually supposed to be banned. That whole thing that happened with the farmer, they just brushed all that up under the rug. That's how I know they're participating because they're looking in form of having a major payday in the sport of boxing, which is underhanded. It hurts the boxing game when they participate, but they don't care. They're a bunch of scum and trash anyway. But anyway, let's go to the final. You made the perfect segue to me for Floyd Mayweather saying cleaning up the fight. And Floyd Mayweather here is setting up a fight against Logan Paul, a YouTube fighter. And this is what Floyd said in the article from Boxing Scene. Says Mayweather says fighting Logan Paul is like legalized bank robbery. And Floyd talking that shit, but he means it. Let's go into it. Floyd Mayweather just rested comfortably atop Forbes' highest paid athlete list during his heyday. But the fighter nicknamed Money is out for another cash grab when he returns to exhibition against Logan Paul on June the 6th for an exhibition at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida on Showtime pay-per-view. $50 if you won't see it. My nickname is Money for a reason. I worked hard for years and years to get at a certain level, and a level where we could start calling everything an event. Mayweather said on Showtime's Inside of Mayweather versus Paul show. I believe in working smarter, not harder. So if there's something easy like Paul's fight, a legalized bank robbery, I got to do it. I have to do it. It appears that Mayweather, who's 50-0 with 27 KOs, has a propensity for backing up on the Brinks truck for a quick snatch. Last year, the Hall of Fame fighter described his win over Conor McGregor as a quick bank robbery, a quick heist. Mayweather retired again after knocking out McGregor in 2017, but returned on New Year's Eve 28 to demolish Tenshin Nakawa in one round for a reported $9 million payday. At the age of 44, he had that kid crying, by the way, after he beat him, just to let you know, he had him crying. At the age of 44, Mayweather once again will engage in combat, a bit in a 8-round glorified sparring session. Logan and Jake Paul are making some pretty good money from YouTube. He's made a lot of money from YouTube, but it's not Floyd Mayweather type money. When it comes to Floyd Mayweather, it's a different level. Believe me, say Mayweather. It's fame at different levels. Fame changes the person. Like people say, fame changed me. It did. It made me more cautious. It made me want to better myself and become a better person and surround myself with better people, save my money and make smart investments and build generational wealth. That's what I wanted to do with my fame and fortune. And that's why where I'm at. I've always stayed in my lane. That's what the great Floyd Mayweather saying, talking generational wealth for his family. He's done every bit of that. To me, let's talk about, quote, legalized bank robbery, end quote. Let's go into that. Talk about Logan Paul and Mayweather for a second.
Yeah, Mayweather making smart moves, man. Still making smart moves. You know what I'm saying? You know, by him, Logan Paul being, what's it?
You got it.
Hype. You know what I'm saying? So they just give him the keys to the vote to get the money out, man. So they, like Mayweather would say, y'all need to go to the kitchen and get the sharpest knife and cut that bullshit out. You gonna fuck Logan Paul ass up, man. You know what I'm saying? Easy money. You're like, oh, y'all just give me the fucking money. Y'all just give me the money. You know, he's bigger, he's stronger. That don't mean shit, man. To somebody, a master boxer like him, he ain't gonna be able to touch him with that.
Nope.
He ain't gonna be able to touch him, man. So, like I say, go to the kitchen, get the sharpest knife, and cut that bullshit out, man.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because even though he might be bigger and stronger than Mayweather, you'll never be able to touch him. And Mayweather would dance around this dude. And the thing about it is, even though Mayweather's in his mid-40s, the reality is he trains every day like he has a fight next week. That's the thing. He never stopped training. He's still at the top of his level in terms of where he is outside of the ring. But he'll get into I mean, it won't be a stretch for him to fight a guy who's a YouTuber like this guy. He wouldn't be able to lay a mitt on him. And like you say, he's a master boxer. He's gonna beat this kid up, man. And we'll see, man. It's just amazing that this YouTuber was able to secure a fight with him with Mayweather, who's 50-0 and arguably one of the best boxers that that ever put on a glove. So I mean, it's just amazing how the world is right about now. When YouTubers can fight master boxers and people actually think that the YouTuber's gonna have success against them. So we'll see how that is. So like you said to me, get the sharpest knife sharpest knife that you have out the kitchen, and go ahead and slice that bullshit up and stop talking that mess. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, he I don't think he's gonna be able to take Mayweather's punches, man. You know what I'm saying? He start feeling them punches from Mayweather. Oh, this good guy. He gonna really start feeling. He gonna know what real punches feel like in a real fight, man.
Right.
Man, when he he hit them in certain spots and shit. You know what I'm saying? To drain him from all his energy. He's like, oh, he barking up the wrong tree, man. What's the other saying? He said you try to cash, you getting a check that your ass can't cash.
Yeah, you cashing the check. Oh, thank you. I think you're spending something like that. I know what you're saying though. You coming out with the sayings tonight there to me.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, he gonna get his ass dealt. He gonna get his ass handed to him, boy. Yeah, he barked up the wrong fucking tree, man.
So go ahead to me.
You know what I'm saying? As far as like the fans, the entertainment and shit wise, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? It's great. But he gonna get that ass whooped.
So with that being said, that'll do it for this episode of Ring King Boxing. I'd like to thank all the family members for chiming in on Ring King's Boxing. If you like it, please feel free to hit the subscribe button and the like button and share button, as it helps to improve our boxing platform here at Ring King's Boxing as we continue to drop shows every week. And like I said, join the Ring Kings Fight Fam today by hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, and sharing the show's link. It helps us out great dearly. So with that being said, I'm Big Q chiming in. We'll see you on the next edition of Ring Kings Boxing later on in the week. Appreciate you for joining us. For me and Too Mean, we'll see you later. Much love. Peace. Happy Memorial Day. Blessing to you. And we out. Peace.
Peace.
Perfect.